Alright my good people, I don't come here scream again with another legit intel. I don't come here domot with another breaking news on the things and things where they go on for inside we nation Nigeria. And the koko now be say the National Assembly don't come under heavy criticism. They don't yab the National Assembly well sake of the swift approval of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's loan request. It don't make the debt profile of this our green country wey be Nigeria rise to an alarming 138 trillion naira. No be small matter like this, so my good people. That na to tell you say our nation Nigeria dey owe 138 trillion naira. Country people now wey sabi, wey be experts and stakeholders, they don express their concern over the failure of the legislators to adequately touchlight the borrowing plans of this our green country wey be Nigeria. Country people now plus experts and stakeholders, they express their concern sake of the failure of the legislators to address the warning of dire economic consequence. This one wey the federal government just dey borrow money anyhow, and the legislators they never draw ear give the federal government say make dem mind theirself and make dem know how dem take dey borrow and make dem know wetin dem dey carry the money wey dem dey borrow take dey do. Like this now, my good people, the National Assembly wey be the Senate and the House of Representatives, they don grant their assent within 48 hours after our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu dey find approval for a $2.2 billion loan. And that $2.2 billion, my good people, if you want convert am to naira, you go get around 1.77 trillion naira. And all these levels, my good people, e dey follow a report wey dey presented by one countryman wey dey go by the name RI0US. He na the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts. According to our president wey be Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he said the loan is very much embedded in the 2024 fiscal year's external borrowing plan. Then the Senate President wey be Godswill Akpabio, as they read the letter wey come from our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he now gonna describe the request as integral to the administration's fiscal strategy. But however, my good people, critics now they argue say this rapid approval process dey exemplify the National Assembly their failure to conduct rigorous oversight. That is to say, as the National Assembly just sharply approved the loan of $2.2 billion, that to talk say the National Assembly no dey touchlight things and things wey dey concern this federal government at all. E come back as if they no dey do their job. E come back as if they suppose take time touchlight this loan properly, touchlight where the thing dey go and how they go take use am. Now my good people, make I yarn you legit about the debt wey don dey pile up for this our nation Nigeria and the legislative approvals. As of the month of June for inside this year 2024, the total public debt of our nation Nigeria is been plastered at the sum of 134 trillion naira. Now with additional borrowings wey dey approved for inside the month of July and November, the figure it don increase to 138 trillion naira. And all this loan they include the securitization of 7.3 trillion naira for inside central bank ways and means advances, and $7.8 billion and 100 million euro for the government their borrowing plan from 2022 to 2024. The Assembly constantly approved a controversial $800 million World Bank loan and 500 billion naira for palliative to calm down the effect of subsidy removal. Now, despite the assurances say the funds go address pressing economic challenges, men wey sabi wey be experts, they don raise concern about the accountability and actual impact of all these funds in the life of country people. They don dey draw ear now, they don dey yarn. So there is no transparency and all this money wey dem borrow, last the federal government no go fit give account because the general public no receive shishi from the federal government. Now civil society groups and economic experts don dey accuse lawmakers of rubber stamping executive proposals without due diligence. Then the executive director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, he now come dey complain say legislators they don abandon their oversight responsibilities. According to how he take yarn am, he say it is quite unfortunate say lawmakers now don dey give blanket approval to the demands of our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and they don't become more than rubber stamps. They don't dey choose side with the executive at all costs. Their job normally was to scrutinize and investigate policy and ensuring that all details are submitted and verified before approval. But now e come back see if they don forget wetin their job be, they don dey do another thing wey no make sense. Dis my good people na the things and things wey the executive director of the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center dey yarn. Meanwhile, the legal practitioner wey dey go by the name Victor Opatola, him too follow dey echo dis sentiment, and him dey yarn say the constitution dey mandate the National Assembly to assess the necessity and implications of financial request thoroughly. That is to say, based on the powers wey dey vested in them as the National Assembly, dey suppose to use time take assess or thoroughly torchlight any financial request come from whosoever. No be say our president go just drop request sharply, they go just approve the thing. Say those kind levels normal, e no make sense. And he constantly yarn say the assembly gets the authority to investigate the need for all these loans and then get the authority to determine whether this our nation Nigeria go borrow another money, and all these levels now for the best interest of our country. And these powers now wey dey vested upon the National Assembly, maybe the Senate and the House of Representatives, they gats exercise the powers rigorously. They gats flaunt their powers, they gats flex am, and they gats do am wella, not as a formality. No be say the powers dey there for fancy. All these levels now, my good people, they come from the legal practitioner wey dey go by the name Victor Opatola. Now, since morning we don dey talk about the problem of this our nation Nigeria, and if we still dey talk about the problem, we no go finish for here today. The way forward now, according to observers, according to men wey sabi, they insist say the National Assembly must step up in their oversight role to ensure fiscal responsibility. They gats begin dey do the needful, and the needful dey include scrutinizing loan requests, torchlighting loan requests, demanding transparency in fund utilization, and holding the executive accountable for mismanagement. As the debt burden of our nation Nigeria just dey grow, critics now dey sama warning say this our nation Nigeria, this our country, so e dey risk a long-term financial instability if borrowing now dey continue. If all this borrow now is left unchecked, time go reach wey be say the kind gbese wey go befall our country, e go hard before they go comot am. And experts now dey yarn say the role of legislators is very much critical in avoiding such a crisis. The public now just dey watch closely, they just dey observe, and they call for lawmakers to make them prioritize the interest of country people kwanu, make them prioritize the interest of the general public over the executive, make them do things wey go better for country people, not for our leaders wey life don already better for them. And whether the National Assembly go lis ten to this warning now wey country people don sama give them, na something wey be say country people no know about. But this my good people, na the informate wey I wan share give the general public. Anyhow the thing be for body, feel free make you drop am inside our comment section. Now we be Anointed Lady TV. Now they give on our legit intel on the things and things wey dey go on for inside we nation Nigeria. So if you like this intel and you go like to receive more, try make you subscribe to this channel and try make you put on the notification bell, so that as we dey bring the news they come, now you go first get the updates, and you go even get them sharp. I dey come your side again with another legit news for you, my good people. Abeg, no go anywhere.